Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Travels and Wildlife Photography. We're back.
Yeah.
We had a little bit of a break, a little hiatus. We went on this lovely cruise with Emilie's family, specifically her mom, for her 60th birthday. And then we got back and promptly got incredibly sick.
Not incredibly, but sick enough.
I mean,
sick
I don't
enough.
know. I was feeling pretty rough.
Yeah.
So we weren't doing much of anything, just lounging around for a bit and just recovering, and then finally started getting out and doing some shooting and stuff. So we're going to record this one really quick. This is just going to be basically the trip that we did, the cruise, which had a little tiny bit of photography in it. A little bit.
Yeah, mostly just underwater.
Yeah, which was cool.
Yeah.
And we did a little bit of Hilton Head stuff right before we left,
Right.
I think, that we haven't talked about. So yeah, let's get into that, and then we'll record another episode, which is all the stuff we've done in Florida since we've been here.
Yeah.
Which has only been 2 outings, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Was it or 3?
2 or 3? Oh, 3 with the scrub
3.
chase. You're right.
One
yeah.
with the scrub chase, yeah.
Yeah. So in Hilton Head, right before we left, we went out and we had this idea
What was the idea?
to take like all the different lenses, right?
Right.
Or do we bring the housing too?
I don't know. Did you have the house? No, I don't think we had the
No.
housing. I think I took the
It was just the
new
mirror lens.
donut bokeh
Yeah.
250. And what did you have?
I
But-
brought 100 to 400, and I was
100
going to do the
400.
flash stuff.
And we promptly kind of switched, I think, because obviously this is the donut bokeh. I wasn't really feeling like going out and to begin with, and I got to the beach and I didn't feel like shooting, because I
Yeah.
kind of knew it ahead of time.
Both of us got there and we're just like, it's tough. Like
It was just like a mindset thing, I think, too, for me, because you kind of overcame it and then shot.
yeah.
But I think like sometimes when I don't feel like shooting, I should just listen to that and not shoot.
And you've had that kind of here in Florida a little bit too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we can talk about it, or it'll show in the photos. So you get a lot of photos, and then I'm just like, meh.
Yeah.
And it's just like this weird. I think if I'm not feeling like creative or something, then
Do you think that's what it is? It's like the creative thing?
something like it's got to
Yeah.
be something.
It's like a
Like a
internal motivation though,
disconnect.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like between. I don't know. It's like I can't see things the same way when I'm got this like, I don't know, some
Yeah,
kind
I
of
feel
brain
like-
fog or something of like brain block of shooting. If I say like I don't feel like shooting, then I know
And
I'll
then go
have
anyway.
bad outing.
There's the yard work going again. We
Yeah.
thought that might be done, but it's back. Hopefully you can hear us fine.
Yeah.
It's far enough away.
Yeah. So
I feel it for myself as just a lack of vision when I'm out there. Like I just can't see.
Yeah.
There, you can sit down. I can't see the possibilities
yeah.
so obviously. And
Right.
it's like, yeah, I know I can work, but sometimes I just then
And then you-
that lack of work motivation isn't there.
Right.
Like I don't feel like crawling around and getting messy and
Yeah, it's
dirty and
weird.
like clean up and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Because I think this was right before. I don't know if it was the night before we were leaving, but
maybe like a couple nights before.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'm like all for let's get messy, let's get
Yeah.
dirty, like doesn't matter, I'll do whatever it takes to get the shot.
Sure.
And then other times I'm like just so much more casual about it.
Right. But I don't even know if it's like more casual or just like not putting any effort in.
Yeah.
Or it's like where it's just like I don't know, some kind of mindset of
But I think even when you're like that, if the photos were easy, if there was some obvious thing and the subjects were really cooperative and it was easy to shoot, you'd be shooting. Don't you think?
I don't know.
Does it feel like that? No?
I don't know, because I mean, like, we'll talk about it in Florida, too, because, I mean, which is later on. But here, even, like, I had the donut lens, and then I just kind of, like, gave up on it. I just didn't even really try anything.
And I kept
then-
trying a couple things and just
Yeah.
like failing, but
But
then
then you got
finally
stuff. Yeah.
got these
And I mean,
couple.
like, they're cool.
Yeah, they're not amazing.
No, but they're cool, and they're different.
They're different. But I think when I got more time with it in Florida with more cooperative birds and I was more into it,
Yeah.
I did better.
Yeah.
This is still just trying to find anything in the background that does that,
Yeah.
like shows the donut bokeh,
Yeah.
And like the white sand isn't great, and the the light is kind of blah on the birds,
Yeah.
So we'll just try and keep talking over
Yes,
the.
that's true. Okay, yeah.
sound.
This one, it almost It definitely looks like kind of painterly and has like an interesting effect in the foreground there.
It really does, doesn't it?
It's like very pretty.
It did something to the water.
To the water, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like you see it when it's larger here too. It almost looks like slow shutter speed.
Yeah, it does.
But it's not. And that's actually pretty darn sharp.
It's pretty sharp on the bird, yeah.
So let me bring up the settings on this. You know, I guess we get the F0. It's what is that lens? Is that
I think it's a 5.6.
It's a 5.6? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like this one.
It's 250 millimeter. When I view it on the bigger screen, I like it even more.
Sure.
Because it shows that effect more.
Right.
So that's why I was just kind of zooming in. But yeah, it's like all of this kind of stuff.
Like interesting texture.
It almost looks like slow shutter speed, but I was at the shutter speed reported here is actually accurate in the ISO. The only thing it doesn't have is the aperture.
Right. And like that's a really cool, like the bird is a tiny bit softer, but like
this one didn't nail it.
I love it almost looks like a painting. I mean it's pretty good though.
Not bad.
Because it's really difficult, especially a sanderling.
He was running across
to get in focus or manual focus. That's like another barrier to entry with this.
I think that was a big part of what shut me down initially that evening. Was just like the birds were all moving so fast.
Yeah, and it was.
And
just
I was like I saw potential.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'll get here and line it up, and then just could not come close to getting focus.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this sucks.
Yeah.
You know.
But I do like the textures and the grasses and everything in that one.
Yeah, me too.
It looks very different.
Which you had talked about. Those marsh
grasses. Yeah, I was like, I wonder what but I just like didn't do anything with it.
But that's mainly why I was shooting this, because I was like, let's see what happens with the grasses and stuff, because I remember you mentioning that. Yeah.
I did, yeah.
And then you just sat down and chilled.
Yeah, I was just kind of like watching the sunset and just chilling.
And so I'm going to switch over. We have a video here. This shows the setup. So this right here is the flash. I had it on a little, what do you call it?
Tripod.
Yeah.
Grimpy pod.
Yeah, you call it a grimpy pod, yeah. And so I set it down. The birds are right here, and then I went around the other side because I was trying to shoot backlit flash stuff. So I think you zoom in on this a little bit more to show. Yeah, there we go. So you can see the plover sitting right there. Get this out
and they
of the
were
way.
pretty stationary.
They were totally resting.
Yeah.
And that was the other frustration I had that evening.
Right.
The tide was coming in so fast.
It was, yeah.
And I know I would have been able to do some amazing stuff with that if it wasn't for the tide. So I got some shots here. You can see this is the
glow of.
This is the rimlet flash there.
Yeah.
Firing off. This one actually has a little bit showing there because it was a little bit later.
Right.
And I started playing with some settings. I went darker, which I think shows, this was 125th of a second. This was 200th of a second. So it just dimmed it down. Plus it was quickly getting darker as the sun went down. So I wanted to wait a good bit longer so I could get some really slower shutter speeds and start incorporating movement and the flash.
Right.
Because I had the flash set to rear curtain sync, which should have froze them at the end and stuff like that. But the tide just kept coming in and it pushed the birds.
Pushed the birds out, yeah.
I had gotten into this distance, which I was happy with. I didn't need to get any closer.
Yeah, yeah.
There was a bunch of birds that were all resting and tucked in, which, by the way, so I'll add this, the first time we talked about doing this, which we talked about it on
the
flash thing, we had experienced some of the birds kind of reacting. It was like a sanderling that had jumped, and I think there was a black belly that seemed to not care. But anyway, this group of plovers, I crawled in on them, got in pretty close. They were resting. A lot of them had their heads tucked, and I started firing the flash, and you could see in that video how far away it was from them.
Yeah.
It was pretty good distance.
Yeah.
They didn't, zero reaction. They were tucked in. Every time I fired, I would take my eye out and watch just to see the reaction. I mean, nothing, just zero indication. And then they would, if the head was out, it would tuck right back in. They just didn't care at all. So that was really good and promising to see, is that they just didn't seem to mind. So anyway, and then I got this guy taken off, which was too slow of a shutter speed.
For that motion.
Because there was too much ambient light. That's the kind of stuff I wanted to play with once it got darker.
But then they left because of the tide.
Yeah. That was totally it, yeah. So that was kind of the end of it. That was a bit of a bummer, is I got everything finally lined up, all set, and then the stupid tide came in and just pushed the damn birds. Because if it was outgoing tide or just not coming in that fast and had more space, I could have spent the next 15, 20 minutes with them easily, I think, and just let the light get lower and really played around with some stuff. So
Well, we're going back in April. So.
I definitely want to try again. And I think that setup worked better than what you and I had done, which was you holding the flash trying to move.
Yeah.
Like the two of us trying to move on either side always freaks the birds out.
Yeah.
And I think just having that thing sitting over there, drop it, and then move around myself was the way to go. So, yeah, I think I feel like I learned there and showed myself that, it has the potential. It just needs to get later for me to really start playing with it. And then... Wait, I thought I had all the drone stuff.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, why did I not? I must not have added that. Give me 1 second. There it is. Yeah, there we go. Cool. I just didn't drag it in there.
And that was in the morning.
Yes. So we'll move this up top here. Maybe. There we go. So this was like the day before we left, I think.
Yeah.
And I've talked about this on the podcast with Brad about this whole experience. Oh, I didn't have any of the videos ready on this. So yeah, we woke up this one early morning, and I originally was going to try and go back out and photograph hooded mergansers, but I decided against it.
I think the tide wasn't right.
Yeah, that's what happened. I knew the tide wasn't going to be right, and so yeah, we woke up that morning and I looked outside. It was stunning. It looked beautiful, and there's all these blue herons, little blue herons out and around. And I was like, I should fly the drone.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, it's all the way out in the van. I was just so lazy. I had to go out and get it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Had we packed everything up already?
We had, yeah.
Okay.
We had put everything away. And so I remember just thinking am I going to bother doing this? And I just felt totally lazy.
Right.
And I'm so glad I did, because I finally went and got it. And I was like, when am I going to get these chances? Because I think the other times I've flown the drone, it's always been kind of midday. It's just been harsher light.
Right.
And this was right at sunrise. The light was stunning. And there were so many birds there. The water levels weren't quite as high as what I wanted, because I really want to shoot more with water with these things.
Reflection kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was still beautiful. So get the drone. I launch it off the 3rd floor thinking it's going to start up higher and it shouldn't scare anything.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as it got out, the birds that were right in front of your mom's house there, just they didn't leave, but they just
picked up a little bit.
Picked up and then landed on the walkway that goes out there. And I was like, oh man, that's a horrible start. Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get anything. So I figured I'd try one more time just to see if I could get anywhere near them. So I did what I always do in this circumstance, which is I flew the thing way up high just to get it away from them.
Sure.
And let everything settle down. And then I found a juvie, little blue, which always stand out more because they're white.
They're white, yeah.
And so I figure I'll start coming down on him. And I'll show you guys, here's the photos, and then we'll get to some videos at the end. This bird just did not care. So I started a little bit higher, and I was really playing with the shadow.
The shadow, yeah.
And I haven't fully edited these yet. But I was really trying to watch him. He never gave a great angle on that shadow.
Yeah.
So then I switched to just trying to show off some more habitat and stuff like that with him. And that was a better shadow one.
Yeah.
But it's still not fully profiled.
Bird-shaped.
Yeah, because you can see he's angled that way. If he was completely sideways,
right,
I think it would have been better, especially if they were stalking out, leaning. It would have given a really nice big dominant shape.
Right.
But I still do like it. It definitely is more bird shaped than some of the other ones. But anyway, I proceeded to fly around this bird, and guys, he didn't care.
Yeah.
Even a little bit.
Yeah.
Even a little bit. And you'll see in some of the videos, it actually starts walking towards
the
drone as it's flying
stalking.
Right there, and it's hunting.
Yeah.
All absolute hunting, normal behavior.
Yeah.
Just like the drone wasn't even there. And basically what happened is I started high and slowly came down, and I think it just didn't see it as a threat.
Yeah.
And was just all right, that's just a thing that's there.
Yeah.
Guys, I was so low at some point over top of him, I could see the wind from the drone blades on the grasses around the bird, and he was still, didn't even look up. He was still stalking and hunting, and so it was amazing. So yeah, here's some shots I got. I think all this stuff is unedited. I haven't
processed it yet.
Yeah, I'll pop the bird out a little bit more there. There was one time there. That's the one time
he's looking at it.
He did a little bit of a tip up.
Yeah.
And I would notice when I was really close like this, if I moved the drone too fast, he would look up So I just had to do everything slow. And if he did look up, I just stopped moving it. And then he would go right back to there. Look, that looks like the next frame. He's like back to hunting, and I'm right over top of him again. And so, yeah, just incredible experience with that. But the video stuff, I think, is where it's at. So this one was kind of like trying to reveal the bird.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And the space there. So starting with just the grass. And I'm really working on trying to perfect my moves of doing all this moves like really slow. Like this is what I wanted right here. Just like, and there he goes, guys.
And
look.
It's really cool to see.
He's hunting. He's actually coming towards the drone. Or the drone's going towards him, but he's angling towards me, you know? And see here it's moving too fast already.
Right.
Like I want it to move slower. But then it's so touchy. It's either like stopped or not.
Yeah.
But look at him, guys. He's like hunting right towards the drone hovering there.
Yeah, totally.
And you can see the behavior is completely natural.
Normal, yeah. Normal
Not
little
looking
blue
up.
heron. It's kind of crazy.
It was so freaking cool.
Yeah, I remember you were up there. I had gone down to get like coffee or whatever and just hang out with my mom. And I was like, he's been up there for a while.
I went through 3 full batteries. Yeah. So that's that one. This is the full. Yeah, here we go. This one, I think, turns really good. At some point in this video, I think it's one of my favorite clips. He's stalking sideways, and I'm moving the camera sideways with him, the drone. And it's like we're moving together. So it gives such a great sense of movement during it. So we'll see. Let me see if I can just fast forward to it because I think this is a longer clip. Yeah. There. This is it right here.
Oh, yeah, that is cool.
Like he's stalking through it. I'm moving sideways.
And like how else you couldn't get this perspective anyway else because of like these moves and stuff. It's not like you'd be able to move that much on like a, ground pod or any kind of thing like that.
Yeah.
Or even tripod. Like you wouldn't be able to move that much.
And so he pauses sometimes, but I think it's just total normal, like look at him.
That's
He's just
crazy close.
Yeah, and you know how wide these things are. Like,
yeah.
I'm right with this bird.
Yeah.
And he's just not caring. And again, he's stalking towards me.
Yeah.
Like, look. He's angling towards the drone. This is the movement I want right there. That's the speed I want to move.
Oh, wow.
This drone.
That's got to be so hard to navigate on those
It is.
Controls.
But, like, isn't this amazing looking? Like, he's just working through the space, but you get the slow movement. Because you know what it is? I don't want the drone movement to, like, distract.
From the
wildlife,
the bird. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think when it's this slow, it does it. And I actually started like turning it, rotating it around him here. You know, you can see like I'm revealing more of the background. There's the drone shadow coming in. I mean, I'm almost down in these grasses here.
Yeah.
You can see. So that was the other one. And then this one's really fun at the end. This was like one of the last clips I did of an overhead where I'll just zoom out and then reveal the whole space.
Yeah.
And I didn't get my movements perfect on this one either.
I mean,
like I wanted to he ends up too close to the bottom of the frame, you'll see at one point. So that was kind of a bummer. But I love that the whole time he's still just like doing his hunting thing.
Yeah.
And then I love that no matter how small he gets in here,
you can totally see him. He stands out like,
So see, he's in a great spot right there. But then watch, like, as I reveal more, see how close he's getting to the bottom of the frame? And I was just like, I had to stop the tip.
Right.
Because I...
Oh, there he is. Yeah.
Like, I messed it up. Like, I want it to always be, like, a smooth movement.
But what a great scene.
Yeah.
The marsh is so beautiful.
But pretty cool that you could see him all the way until the end. He's sitting right there still, like, he's just... There he is. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So... Anyway, had an absolute blast with that whole thing. I got some video of him with an adult. I did some of an adult. So I got a ton of stuff. I haven't even gone through all the video and done much with it yet, but amazing thing. And I'm so glad I got my lazy ass out of bed and went and got that drone. I really did. So
this was on the boat.
Then we went on a cruise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to tell a little bit more about that?
What do you want me to tell?
Yeah, I just didn't know if you wanted to tell a little bit about why the trip happened and.
So we went on a cruise.
Yes.
To celebrate my mom's 60th birthday.
Yes.
And she decided to treat everyone to this cruise.
Yeah, it was awesome.
which is very generous and nice.
And do you remember the locations we went? Because I forget every single time.
Yes. We went to Roatan.
Yes.
Costa Maya.
And that was in Mexico.
Yep. So the first one was Honduras.
Yeah.
Then Mexico, and then Bimini.
Okay. In the Bahamas.
Yes.
Yes. And we debated a little bit leading up to it if we were going to bother bringing.
Right. A camera, because we were going to be out at sea most of the time. We had 3 excursions, and all the excursions were snorkel based.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, well, when would we have time to... And also spending time with family and that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. But then we also thought, like, oh, we'd kick ourselves if we didn't have some sort of camera to capture, just in case there was, amazing opportunities.
What did we end up bringing? Just the Z8?
I think so.
The Z8 with the
28 to 400.
Yeah.
And then we brought that.
We brought the Z6 III with the 1:4 in case we were both going to shoot. We did bring 2 cameras.
Yeah.
But I never touched that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were you going to say we brought?
And then we brought that swirly bokeh lens, but we didn't bring the adapter, so we couldn't use it.
That's right. Which we've since bought a second adapter, so it's just always on there.
Yeah.
Good to go. So now when we have that lens, we can use it. So yeah, this was the day we got there.
Yes.
We're still at the dock.
Still on the dock.
And so this is Miami. And I just kept seeing these vultures flying around with these cranes back there. And I was like, let me see if I can get something. So kind of cool. I mean, nothing amazing.
Yeah.
And then these pelicans flying over the city. I just thought that was kind of fun with the urban nature of it all.
Right. You did want to do some urban photography with birds, and kind of hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
So this was kind of just fortuitous.
Yeah, it was just a way to be able to make a little bit of that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's our whole group.
There's the group. Yep. Yeah. It was
my
a good time.
sister and her husband, my mom in the middle, my aunt, and Ray and I.
Yes. So yeah, great time. I think we saw a couple of ports had a bunch of frigate birds flying around.
Yep. And didn't you see a booby?
I think I did, yeah. Brown booby.
Out
was
in the
flying
water.
out in the ocean when we were cruising the one day.
Yeah. So that was our first
snorkel
excursion.
That was in Roatan.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know if I set aside any video from that.
I don't think so.
No, it doesn't look like it. So.
But there we are.
Yep, there we are. There's me and Joe, your brother-in-law.
Yes.
Yeah. And there's the whole group. That was the second place.
Was it? Because my mom was in there.
Yep,
yeah.
Yeah, and your sister.
And
she didn't go on the first one.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
And the second stop, we saw a turtle.
Yeah, so where is he? Right
there
here.
He is.
Yeah, so I'll just fast forward to the cool part, what happened. Yeah, there's a turtle down there.
He was just doing his normal turtle-y behaviors.
And then all of a sudden decided to surface
right in front of my sister.
And kind of within the whole group.
The whole group. There was probably a group of like 20?
Something like that.
15, 20?
Yeah.
And he just came right up.
Yep, there's your sister swimming. Came up, grabbed a breath.
And went back down.
And back down he went.
But that was so cool.
It was really, really neat to see him do that right there. Yeah, he was super chill with all the people. Yeah, that was really neat.
Yeah.
So that was fun. And then you're seeing some teasers of what's about to come up.
Yeah. There's my mom.
Yep. That was after that snorkel that day.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, let me pick you up. And she said, no.
And you didn't say
I
no.
didn't. I did
you didn't
it
take
anyway.
no. Yeah. For an answer. Yep. There's me dressed up. It happens every once in a while.
Yeah, every night on the cruise. There's me looking super tired in the morning.
Early morning sunrise from the deck. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So there's us.
Shirts.
So my sister designed these shirts, 60 and sexy on the seas, for my mom.
Yeah. And everybody got one. So we did a group photo there.
Ray's the only time you'll ever see Ray in a tank.
Yep. That was the first time I've worn a tank top since I was probably like 6 years old. This was...
that was Bimini. It was just so beautiful. Yeah. So that day we went on another snorkel excursion with sharks. And my sister had found it the day before, just looking for something to do at that port. Mm-hmm. And they just so happened to have enough, seats left for us to join.
Yeah, the 4 of us went.
Yeah.
Your mom and your aunt skipped that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
there's one more picture of him.
So that snorkel included a shipwreck and also snorkeling with sharks.
Yeah, so we'll do the shipwreck first. Here's us. Here's like in the shipwreck. It was really cool. You could swim inside the thing, which I had never done anything like that before, snorkeling. So that was really, really cool. The light was neat. Here comes Emily. Yeah, that was an awesome experience. That place was stunning. So many fish around the wreck. Yeah, it was like, really, really good.
Thousands of them.
And then here's you swimming in and out. This is kind of showing how you can get in and out of the wreck there. So you just went through those columns like that, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can still see already just like the
so
fish
many
everywhere.
Fish. Yeah.
Which is really, really cool. And so after that, we went to another location. I mean, just a couple minutes away.
Yeah.
You know, you could see it from where that wreck was. And what was your experience like? I'd love to hear, like...
Of the sharks?
Yeah, it's basically everywhere we went, I was like probably the first one in.
Yeah.
Every time. I'm just always excited for that kind of stuff, and I love
You want to have the
snorkeling.
maximum amount of time in the water. And...
Yeah, and I'm comfortable in the water, so I don't need the life jackets and all the setup.
Yeah.
And I don't need to put my fins on before I go in, so I just jump in and I get set up in the water.
Except for with the sharks.
They told us to make sure to put the fins on, so I followed the rules there.
Yeah,
but,
so you don't get your feet munched on.
Yeah, exactly. But it was... It was fun at all the other places, and then the shark thing happened, and you could see all the sharks circling.
Yeah, before we got in. Yeah.
And my mindset is always like this. I'm like, they're taking dozens of people here
every
daily.
Day. Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
And like, of course, yes, I know, I understand something could happen, right?
Yeah.
They're not in control, they're wild animals.
Right.
But unless they're like biting people every other day, like, you know, that's the only reason they'd stop this. Like,
right.
They're taking these people out all the time. Incidents are so few and far between. Like, you're gonna be fine, is my way of thinking.
Right.
You know?
I was hesitant.
Yeah.
And nervous.
So I launched right in.
Yeah. I think you were the first person.
I was first or second. There was one other dude that had done it before that went in right before me. And they told you to jump in.
Make a big splash.
Make a big splash that kind of pushes them away, and then they settle in around you.
Yeah.
And to me, the thing I remember the most was like, all right, you see them all above the water, and it's like, yeah, they're going to be there, but it's always, it's bouncing on the rocking boat. The surface of the water isn't that clear, so you can't see them like crystal clear. And there's always a little bit of I forget what they call that.
Or
yeah, there is like a difference of what you see and like where it actually is in the water.
Versus like when you're in it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I jump in, just like they said, and all the bubbles clear, you know, after the splash and everything. And then I look around, I'm like, oh, they're like right there.
Yeah.
And, oh, there's so many more than I even thought.
So many, yeah.
You know? I mean, probably 20 to 30 sharks swirling around. I think they were all Caribbean reef sharks. They said there could have been some nurse sharks, but I don't think we saw any nurse sharks, if I'm not mistaken. And anywhere in size from, I would guess, like the smaller ones were maybe like 3 feet, 4 feet, up to longer than me. Yeah. You know, so like 6 foot or more sharks. So good size, which was nice. Well, I was happy about. Because I didn't want to, whatever, I would have swam with any size shark, but there's something about like a giant shark like that big, that's like the size of you, you're like, I don't know. That's kind of what you want.
It was a little bit intimidating.
For sure. You were hilarious to watch. You keep your arms in.
Yeah.
You don't want to swim.
It was more of just like they came so close and I didn't know necessarily to expect that. And also just, like something you've never done before. Yeah. And so it was just a new experience.
Yeah, so we'll keep talking about it while we show you guys this video here. I'll take us off the screen and just let you guys see this video here. And pardon my footage. This is all from a GoPro. It's actually a DJI Action 5. We just got this one. Yeah. A newer model.
But like, there's Raceman and there's the shark.
Yeah, you know, just like right there. I was trying my best to show you guys, you know, your sister, and brother-in-law in the water as well with these guys. And I was trying to get some of them like swimming right at me, like this kind of stuff, and also noticing the light rays, you know? Yeah. But it was still hard to see on the back of that
what you're doing
and swimming around. The screen is so tiny.
Yeah.
I didn't do perfect with my framing. But there you can see, like, that's a lot of sharks under the boat.
Oh my gosh, that one went right under my legs. Oh God, it's right there. I don't even know probably. Look at him. Ooh, crazy.
There's Emily in the red, and there was just random stranger. But
yep, random stranger.
Yeah, there's your sister and brother-in-law right there, and I think I'll get a good view of them in a second. Here.
Yeah.
There you go.
I
So
mean,
that's what I was
look
trying
at
to swim
how
backwards to
close
show them.
they are.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. And I feel like also the less you moved, the closer they came.
Oh, for sure.
And then I was also so nervous, like when they were right under you.
This one, I think I got like the tail swooping right through the frame. Look at this.
Woof.
Yeah, there was maybe this one was better. I don't know. There was one where you can see the tail come right through because
Yeah.
they said not to stick your arms out towards them. And so I was waiting for them to go by me, and then I would stick it in closer.
But yeah,
I mean, they were like
they
right
are
there.
so close.
Yeah, like look at the tail right there. See?
Yeah.
And I was like swim with him, and then I turn around. That's the thing. You turn around,
And
you're
then
like,
there's
oh,
more.
yeah.
There's just sharks
They're right
everywhere
there.
all the time.
This is the close tail one right here. Look at that.
Oh
through
my
the
gosh.
frame. I loved
Yeah.
it. I was having such a blast. I didn't want it to end.
Yeah.
And like to me, the thing that stood out the most, gosh, they look like they just went on either side of me there,
yeah.
was how calm they all were. So relaxed. Like they're so graceful in the water.
Yeah.
Just like watching them move and swim just right underneath of you. The only time I would see one move kind of quick was if your fin came close to it accidentally.
Right.
You know, just
Yeah.
trying to swim around and stuff like that. And so, yeah, it was so peaceful and serene to me. I felt so relaxed the whole time.
I felt so relaxed. No, I was definitely nervous.
Emily was always
I was
like,
definitely nervous.
yeah.
But
watching
it was
out.
cool.
Are you glad you did it?
Oh, 100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. It was out of my comfort zone.
Yeah. Oh, here comes some. Look at that. Yeah, I mean, right at it.
Yeah.
That was so cool. I loved it.
Yeah.
You stayed in the whole time, though.
I did.
That was good
I
because
did.
I noticed when
A
we
lot
got
of
out,
people like
some people
went
had
in
cleared
and then
out,
just
kind of partway through. Yeah.
Yeah.
This one I got to swim with him a little bit, but you know they're not even trying. There was a decent bit of current. I mean, look at them all. If
Yeah.
you go back as far as you can see, there's just sharks all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was so. I loved it. I really did. And this was the one time where I was just like, oh, we should have brought the underwater housing.
Oh, right.
With like the good camera, like that might have been neat. But I gotta say, the GoPro
And the
does
GoPro does
amazing.
really well.
Yeah, it really did, and it's so easy
Yeah.
to use. Like I feel like I would have screwed up so much with the
Yeah.
other setup. You know.
Well, I think it would have been more difficult, right? Because
Yeah.
then you're also worrying about just
The logistics of that
Yeah.
and shooting that thing. Yeah, for sure. There goes your sister.
yeah.
So anyway, yeah, I don't think we need to let the whole thing go here.
Yeah.
But it was, yeah, it really was such a
Great way to end the trip.
It was like
Last kind of
the
outing.
most fun outing
Yeah.
at the end there. Both of us, our first time ever being in the water with sharks like that.
Yeah, I had scuba dived once and there was a shark, but it wasn't like all around, and he just was kind of like
Just
one
like-
pass and
yeah.
he was gone. Like
That's
you
all
saw
I've
him
ever seen
quickly
before.
and then it just goes away.
I've seen like glimpses. I
Yeah.
think we saw them in Costa Rica. There was one really deep
Oh, there
I
was.
saw, and it was just like, oh, cool. And before I even got a chance to dive down, it was just like
Gone.
Yeah, gone. So it was like cool to see, but
Yeah.
nothing like this. Like this was
Immersive.
completely different. Yeah, it
Immersive
really
shark.
was. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was it. Yeah, that was our trip, and then we wrapped it up. Yeah, so we didn't do a ton of photography on it.
No.
But the underwater stuff was amazing. It
Yeah.
really was, and
Yeah, all the snorkeling, the visibility was so clear. Just being out on
Great
the boat
conditions.
and like watching the blueness of the water,
Yeah.
it was just like really beautiful.
yep. And then we got back to Florida, and so we'll record another episode and put that out back on our normal day. This one's coming out. You know, we're just gonna get this one out and published as soon as we can, and then back to our normal Friday for the next episode.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah.